Welcome back. John Paulson became a household name after betting that mortgage debt was egregiously mispriced during the housing bubble. After those days, he turned to gold, betting that fiscal and monetary stimulus would devalue the dollar. And as you can see from the chart here, since 2009, when he launched that bet, the price of gold has quadrupled, and Paulson is now pressing the bet, now set to become co-chair of Nova Gold, whose shares are up 3.5% on this news today, alongside another man who has made his fortune betting on precious metals as well, and who currently serves as Nova Gold's chairman, Thomas Kaplan, who we hope will join us shortly. John, it's great to have you here. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be here.
And let's just start with as gold is about $1,000 or so off its highs this year, this parabolic move had everyone captivated. Now it's undergone a bit of a reset. Do you have conviction that 5,000, 10,000, where is gold going? And is it still driven by the same forces that you originally identified, years ago?
Yes, great question. It's true. It's come off a little bit from its high this year, but it's also up 20 plus over 20% over the last year. So I do think we're in the beginnings or the early stages of a long-term bull market for gold. And gold is becoming, the most sought after reserve currency in the world, replacing fiat currencies. So as people lose faith in paper currencies, gold as an alternative will continue to grow. And the demand for central banks, for instance, has stayed strong, as has the private sector. So I think the trend of gold will continue to be on the upside.
Are there any other ways to express, this is a very common and popular view, especially among younger investors. This was a Bitcoin kind of original motivation and things like that. The idea that dollar debasement is happening, that you have to protect yourself from it. A lot of us can sit in the U.S. and in a way not, we benefit. I guess if you're an asset owner, your real estate prices go up, your stock prices go up. Yes, inflation has been a factor as well, but are there any other ways that you would want to express this point of view?
I think the greatest way to invest is to invest in early stage gold stocks. So Nova Gold, the reason why we're so focused on Nova Gold and why we announced the merger today is Nova Gold has 40 million ounces of gold indicated and measured resources and reserves. At the market cap of 4.2 billion, you're buying gold in the ground at only $119 per ounce, vis-a-vis the gold price of 4,200. So you only pay less than 3% of the gold price. So I think it's the best way to play gold is through stocks like Nova Gold, if not Nova Gold itself.
Well, and your now co-chair, current chairman of the company, Thomas Kaplan, is here with us as well. Thomas, it's really a pleasure. You obviously have tons of experience investing in gold, precious metals, natural gas too, I believe. And John was just laying out the investment case. I mean, how could the market leave gold out there valued in this company at $119 an ounce? Didn't somebody else figure this out?
Well, the short answer is that it won't. Nova Gold was resurrected when John Paulson joined with Nova Gold to take Barrick out of their stake a little bit over a year ago, and the stock went from $3 to a high of 14 when the gold shares peaked. We fully expect to surpass that high, and the transaction that we've just announced is only going to add kerosene to the fire. Both John and I mean, we're both loving the idea of working together on this because we both bring similar philosophy and values, but also different skill sets into maximizing the value for the shareholders. The deal is incredibly accretive, but the most important aspect of this is that it puts under one roof 100% ownership of what will be the very largest gold mine in the United States. For the first time in decades. And for that reason, we really do believe that we will be the go-to stock in the space. And we're both very committed to seeing the value of the share price multiply. And we think that for all of the reasons that John has cited on the gold price, which we share in terms of our long-term view, that will just give us even more tailwinds. We don't see any headwinds. We only see tailwinds. And we really do believe that the best must-own play in the gold development space is being able to own the largest gold mine in the United States. It's that simple. It's a very, very straightforward story, and it explains the confidence that John has had and I've had for 16 or 17 years. We really do believe that this is our time, and that 100% ownership is exactly what the market needs to see.
Right, and you're talking about kind of building equity value there. The shares are up 12% right now as you lay out the case for what's happening. John, I'm curious, we saw it was gold earlier this year, silver. It was, we would talk about palladium and platinum and, am I forgetting something? Nickel, copper, obviously. So my question to you, John, is this just a gold story for you on a macro level? Is it more broad? And could the new Fed chair, Kevin Warsh, actually be the person who represents the biggest threat to that investment thesis in some ways?
I don't think so. I think gold, I am uniquely focused on gold. So I always find being an expert in one area is better than knowing a little bit about a lot of different areas. So by being that expert, it's what's driven me to Nova Gold as, perhaps the most valuable single gold asset in the United States, which is the best jurisdiction for gold. I think the reason why gold is rising as a alternative currencies is because of the lack of faith in paper currencies. The amount of government debt is increasing. There's been political influence on reserve holdings that, most central banks and many individuals now feel safer having their long-term assets invested in gold as a currency rather than paper currencies. And that demand, I think, will continue to grow, and that will have a positive impact on the gold price.
Is there anything that people could do? I mean, and again, you look at the situation in Japan, where whether it's Japan or sovereign Europe, you have kind of governments needing to just buy a lot of that longer term debt to keep yields down. We hope that doesn't, become that extreme here, John. But do you think that politicians can change course so that we don't have, I know that the deficit this year just surpassed where we were a year ago. It's a tough problem, but at some point we read at the headlines, Social Security, they're going to have to make cuts there. I mean, at some point, are we going to be able to figure this out? Will that headline risk then be what potentially brings a halt to the rise in gold?
I don't think so. I mean, if you look at history, generally every paper currency has eventually failed. So because the temptation to create money is too great, and the need to create money to satisfy political reasons is too great. So gold is the one asset you can't really create more of. Even all the mining in the world only increases the total gold stock by about 1% a year. So if you have a increase in demand, the only way to meet that demand is by a rise in the gold price.
Thomas, you have done more investing, I believe, over the years in silver and natural gas from time to time. Do you have a broad view on this being another commodity super cycle, or do you think, like John's saying, this is more about gold as an alternative and global currency?
No, it's about being in global currencies. My company's name is Electrum. Electrum is a naturally occurring alloy of gold and silver. We say that we have 3 jewels in the crown. Nova Gold is our flagship gold asset. We love it. We don't believe that there's anything that approaches it in terms of its combination of attributes. We are all in, and we believe that the share price will multiply. And we have taken our 2 silver companies public in June, Sunshine Mining and Cinda. Those are, we call them the 3 jewels in the crown. And, we do view silver as being essentially gold on steroids. It has that industrial component. It has that monetary component. So John is very focused on silver. We are on gold, and we're very focused on gold and silver. But that's normal for us. Silver was our origin story, and the assets that we own, we love them.
Did you ever look into crypto and Bitcoin, Thomas? I mean, just yesterday, S&P Dow Jones launched an index to track crypto revenue-generating products. It doesn't include Bitcoin; it's other types of things, but the thesis for those, for owning those, is very similar to the thesis you both have talked about. Has that ever been something you're interested in?
For me, no. I doubt for John as well. There's a great expression: a true conservative is someone who prefers present happiness to future utopia. And gold has a multi-millennial provenance. Silver has been actually the major monetary metal throughout history. And so that was good enough, and I've never had any reason to look back. But what I will say is this. For years, I used to try to explain to people why owning gold made sense. And I wasn't a gold bug. John's not a gold bug. We just wanted to find a place to be able to protect our net worth and our children's futures. Gold and silver, for me, do that. But one of the things that I can clearly say is this. Bitcoin helped us because it inculcated in a new generation the understanding that you want to own money that can't be printed at will. I just felt that Bitcoin and the crypto was not the way to go about it, but gold would be the one that would be the standout. And candidly, it's done a great, great job. And if you want to own gold, sure, John and I are professionals, so we choose the mining equities because that gives us the greatest leverage. So long as you're in a jurisdiction that will allow you to keep the fruits of that leverage, and for us, the NovaGold story is the epitome of that paradigm, you're in good shape.
John, let me ask you as a final parting question, if you've been studying the AI build-out, because I would love to know, again, going back to the housing bubble, identifying that there was mispricing in the market, knowing what to short and when. Do you look now, whether you've thought actively about any investments or not, but how would you, if someone just asked you, hey, what do you think about this AI build-out, what would you say?
I would say, there's a fair amount of exuberance in the area. Technology changes very quickly. The returns don't seem that high. So I'd be skeptical of the area right now. But again, it's not an area I'm an expert in, but that would be my viewpoint.
All right. Well, if you do decide to take any action there, please let us know. In the meantime, gentlemen, thank you both for joining us to talk about the reasons behind this and the new deal. Thomas, I learned about the Rembrandts as well looking into this, and it's a very impressive. Looking for assets all over, I guess, that can do well over cycles and hold value is what you guys do. Thanks again for joining us and making the time.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Donlin,
Nice to see you.
NovaGold is the Rembrandt. Thank you.
Thomas Kaplan.
I appreciate that.
And John Paulson, appreciate it.